I've been doing research on traumatic brain injury for over 25 years, and most of my work has been with adults, although in my clinical practice at VCU Medical Center, I do see some children and some adolescents. Overall, about 1 in 4 people that we saw in our practice was somehow involved with the law. And so we began thinking about the relationship between brain injury and crime. We talked with some folks from the Department of Juvenile Justice, and in our discussions about the current system, what we found out was that there was minimal assessment of the extent of traumatic brain injury. There was not really a standardized symptom history-taking procedure. While there were tests being done, they were more focused on intelligence and academics, and those tests are not necessarily sensitive to the effects of brain injury. And so through a series of talks, we designed, I'm going to call it an enhanced protocol for evaluating all juveniles who come into the juvenile justice, the detention system. And so what we did was we added a group of what we call neuropsychological tests. These are tests of memory, attention, concentration, vision. We added a history-taking, a brain injury history-taking interview, a structured interview that asked people about what kind of medical treatment they had, and asked people what kind of, the juveniles are now being asked what kind of symptoms they have since their injury. And we also adapted a more thorough chart review, taking into account things like a history of hypoxia or seizures. Once we reached agreement on this protocol, we had a series of meetings with DJJ staff and discussed the protocol, and basically came up with a plan to implement the protocol and to train all the staff who are doing evaluations to do the evaluations in a standardized and valid way. And at last glance, we have information on over 600 juveniles that have been evaluated. What we found out, at least using our methods, is it's likely that the number with brain injury is closer to about 20% or so. The sad thing is that there's not a really organized effort on behalf of a number of states. It seems that every state are using their own procedures to identify juveniles in the system with brain injury. And our hope is that through this project and meeting with others in other states who are using standardized methods, that we'll reach more of a consensus so we can arrive at a better understanding of how these children are being affected and how many there are in the system. The main purpose of this project was to develop a standardized protocol to screen children who likely have had a traumatic brain injury. And we found that by combining a standard interview, history-taking, symptom-taking, if we gave standardized tests and did a thorough review of medical charts, we could get much closer to understanding the true number of incarcerated youth. We provided training to the DJJ staff, developed a standardized protocol, which is being implemented with every child that comes through the system. And now that we've identified these children, our hope is that they'll get special services to meet their needs so that they can leave the system and ultimately become responsible members of our society.